This is Jeremy Counseller, Dean of Baylor Law School. Welcome to another edition of Counselor's Corner, and I'm pleased to be joined today by Caroline Bizarro. Caroline, how far along in law school are you now?
I actually just started my third year.
Your third year. Okay, so what's going on in law school for you right now? What courses are you taking?
Right now, I'm doing a lot of advocacy stuff. I'm taking ADR, ALR, the legal writing class, advanced legal writing, alternative dispute resolution, and then I'm taking business torts and I think that's pretty much it.
Have you taken practice court yet, or it's still to come?
It's still to come.
Okay.
I'll do spring, summer. Yes.
Okay. So you went to Baylor as an undergrad and now Baylor Law School.
Yes.
How was that? Did you come straight from undergrad to law school?
I had about a year in between.
Okay. What did you do during that year?
I clerked at a law firm in Houston and
Okay.
just did some drafting for them.
So what was the transition like from undergraduate to law school? Like, what are the main differences if you had someone you knew who was a Baylor undergrad and you had to say, here's how it's different? What would you say?
It's just a lot more involved. I like to tell my friends who are still at Baylor and undergrad that you just have to kind of sell out to it for the entire amount of time and just be prepared for the fact that it's going to be a lot of work, but it's really fun. It's more fulfilling, I think, than my time in undergrad, but more work.
How more fulfilling?
I just really like the work that I'm doing. I like especially the advocacy stuff that I do. There are more opportunities to do those things in law school, and it's on a bigger stage. So it's just more fulfilling to do more complicated work, at least for me.
So let's talk about the advocacy stuff that you've done. You've been on a lot of teams, I think both moot court and mock trial?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So for those who don't know, what's the difference between moot court and mock trial?
So moot court is appellate advocacy and mock trial is trial advocacy. So appellate advocacy being, no jury. There's a panel of judges, justices who interrupt you and ask you questions during an allotted amount of time. And then mock trial is there's a jury and a judge, and there's openings and closings and examinations, but none of those things exist in a moot court setting. Really just appellate work is questions of law and settling those things. And then trial work is, convincing the jury of which side to believe.
Yeah. What do you find challenging about moot court versus mock trial? Like, what are the unique challenges of those things?
The unique challenges of moot court, which I've done more of, is really just distilling it down into a way that is going to be clear. Some of the best advice I've ever gotten is that you win appellate rounds, moot court rounds, by being clearer than the other side. So long as you can distill it in a way that you can describe it to somebody who's not in the law, then a judge who may or may not have read the actual record by that point will understand what you're saying. Yeah,
it's a lot like teaching in that way. I think moot court or appellate argument is a lot like teaching. You've got to be simple, make the complex simple.
Yes, I think Einstein said that.
Yeah. Was
it Einstein?
Well, I don't know, but I said it, so that should count for something, I guess. Okay, this kind of was very interesting to me. You founded the Baylor Undergraduate Law Review. Why would you do such a thing?
Well, when I was an undergrad, a friend of mine approached me and basically, the undergrad law review was already in existence, but it was dead, and nobody was doing anything with it. And we were kind of just decided that we could make something of it. And so we, from the ground up, just kind of built the whole program. And it was because I knew, even by that point, that legal writing was the most important thing in law school. That if you can get that down pat, then everything else really will kind of follow. And so that was a huge motivator. That was what we said to people to get them involved. And we went from having 0 members right when we started to, in the same semester, having, I think, something like 40, all committed to publishing this journal at the end of the year.
So what sort of pieces does it publish? Is it student-authored pieces?
Yes, it is. It's all student-authored pieces. I think even now they publish about 7 or 8. They are more, in an undergrad setting, more policy related. However, they still touch on legal areas. That's kind of the premise of the whole thing.
Did
anyway.
you write and publish an article in the?
I did.
Okay.
Yes.
What was it about?
It was about zoning regulations in. I used Cleveland, Ohio, as a case study, and really, it was about how some decisions from the U.S. Supreme Court have created zoning issues that have created disparities among wealth, and it was also about what kind of scrutiny, constitutional scrutiny, should apply to wealth discrimination in that specific circumstance.
That's really impressive. Yeah, that's cool.
Thanks.
As an undergrad, it's also kind of nerdy.
Yeah, it was.
If
Took
we're
a lot
being
of time.
honest,
Yeah,
it's kind of nerdy.
it took a lot of time, but whenever I was running that law review, I would tell people when selecting a topic, since it's more policy based in the undergrad setting, they should think about the things that have interested them or not sat right with them during their time in undergrad and write on something like that.
Yeah. So I want to turn back to the advocacy piece, because you have done a lot of it. How do you think that is preparing you? Because there's obviously a competition aspect of it. When we go to competition, we want to win, but the main thing is we want to make sure it helps you in practice and for the rest of your career. And I'm wondering what your thoughts are on how effectively it does that from the vantage point you're in right now as a third-year law student.
I think it's, well, for me, and I'm biased because I like advocacy things, but I think it prepares you better than having not done advocacy. Far better than having just written things and just knowing how to write about the law on paper. Being able to go into a partner's office and explain a concept just to be able to ask a question is very important. Over my summers, I've realized that that's an important skill, and the advocacy things have helped me kind of distill those concepts into words so that I'm clear, I'm not confusing, and I'm not frustrating anybody by being caught up in the weeds.
Yeah. So you've got all this advocacy experience under your belt, and you haven't yet taken practice courts. I'm wondering, when is that going to happen, and what do you hope to get from our practice court program?
Yeah, so I'll take practice court in the spring and summer. I started in the spring, so that was kind of the timeline that is most appropriate. And I'm hoping to just really, sharpen my skills and also learn those discrete areas of the law that you don't get to learn in the first couple years in law school here or in many cases in any law school. Baylor teaches you some very detailed parts of the law in practice court that I'm interested in knowing about.
I'm biased because I taught in the program and because I'm the dean of the law school the program is offered, but it is the best training ground for practical lawyering in the country, in my opinion, because one of the things, just one example of what it does, a lot of law students, maybe I think most law students take evidence, but all law students take an evidence course here, but it's not just in the book. You go do it in a courtroom, and it's that combination of doctrine and practice that is really, it's the synergy that makes the program go. And you are going to learn a ton about trial advocacy and practice court. You're going to drink it up and be incredibly benefited from it. So looking ahead, I mean, you're a year away from being out and practicing law. What are your plans? What are your hopes?
I have been kind of deciding whether I want to do the appellate route or the trial route. That kind of determines where I'm going to go after. I've been looking at clerkships for after, but...
judicial clerkships?
Yes, but have been kind of leaning more towards trial practice. I've always wanted to do appellate work, but really just enjoy the trial work. Yeah. And since that, I've only done one competition, but really enjoyed, that kind of work.
Well, I did an appellate judicial clerkship, but not a whole lot of appellate work. And so I think it translates into a trial practice pretty well.
I think so too. You gotta, if you know the law better, I've explained it to my mom this way. If you know the law better, you're gonna beat the other guy, the guy on the other side.
Hopefully that's true. Okay, we have now come to the lightning round. I have to pause there, Caroline, because they insert a thunderclap right there. And then we don't want to talk over the thunderclap. Okay, here we go. Do you have a hidden talent, and if so, what is it?
Oh my goodness. I don't know if I have a hidden talent. I might have to pass on that one.
Okay, what's the last book you read for fun?
Brave New World by Aldous Huxley.
Does pineapple belong on pizza?
It can.
All right, I'm going to accept that because you've told me you're Italian, so I think that has to control. What was your favorite movie as a kid?
As a kid, I really liked The Little Prince. It's a book. It's a French book, but they adapted it into a movie. It's very good, even as an adult.
Okay. The best way to eat a potato?
Mashed.
What's your favorite brand of energy drink?
Probably Alani, but I don't really drink energy
Well,
drinks.
that second part is the correct answer.
Yeah.
Text or call?
Probably text if you're busy.
Favorite fast food restaurant?
I like Chick-fil-A a lot.
What meal do you make for yourself the most?
I make sausage and peppers, actually, very frequently. I made it the other night, but it was a meal we had growing up. It's basically like a white roll with Italian sausage, peppers, marinara, and onions, and that's kind of it. Mozzarella.
It's delicious.
Very good.
I applaud you for that choice. There is a box in front of you. What's inside it?
I'm not sure. Probably a book of some kind.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
Would you ever go on an outdoor survival competition show like Survivor?
I think I could do it, yes.
What Olympic sport would you compete in?
I would probably sand volleyball. That's my favorite one to watch.
Favorite song?
Oh, man. I like Sailing by Christopher Cross.
That's a good answer.
Really
It is
that
hard
one.
not to like that song.
Yeah.
It is really hard not to like that song. I've hit my yacht rock
Yeah.
phase,
So
which is
have I.
I'm like a stereotype, a 50-something guy with listening to yacht rock all the time. But that's like my new favorite pastime.
Yeah.
Yacht rock and I cook while I listen to yacht rock.
Yes. Me too.
Yeah.
I have a very extensive playlist called Yacht Rock. It's like 12 or 13 hours long.
I tell Alexa, play yacht rock, and Christopher Cross, Sailing is like one of the first 3 or 4 songs that she'll play for you if you do
And
that.
then like the Doobie Brothers.
Yeah.
A lot of that.
Absolutely, the
Yeah.
Doobie Brothers. Okay. I understand you may have a question for me.
Yeah. So you have spent years shaping how Baylor lawyers think about advocacy and professionalism. Over that time, I'm curious whether the attributes that make you think, this student is going to be a great lawyer, whether those have changed. And if so, has that evolution kind of changed the way you approach teaching students now?
That is a really good question. I think one thing I have to admit is that I'm probably not great at predicting. Like, you see someone as a student, you say, well, they're going to be a tremendous success. I'm not good at that. And I don't think I need to be. I think it's okay if I just do the best I can with the students I have. And I'm really proud of what our students go out and do. I mean, they do a lot of different things. But I will say their careers don't always take the path that they thought they would. I mean, there are other opportunities out there, right? You take advantage of them as you go. But I do think there's one characteristic that's really, really important, and that's grit. Just resilience.
Yeah.
That, to me, is one of the most important characteristics, because the legal profession, I say this to students a lot, it's a rich and rewarding career, but it's not easy. There are easier ways to get rich than becoming a lawyer.
Yes. Yeah.
And you have to have resilience. You've got to have that grit. And I think one of the things, if I may say so, that Baylor Law School does really well is provide students that opportunity to demonstrate resilience and grit.
I think that's very true.
Yeah. I mean, you think about what you've gone through, where you've got a full slate of courses, and then someone says to you, hey, we want you to be on a moot court team, and now you've got something else that's also important and also time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
The reward for good hard work is more good hard work.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
You know? And so to be able to, I mean, you think about time management and all that's important. But sometimes you put in all that work and you go to the moot court competition and you don't get the outcome you want.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to dust yourself off.
Yes.
And then you say, I'll do another one.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of resilience is really, really, really important in a lawyer. And there are other important attributes, but I think that one is really an important one. And I think it's a question I'll sometimes ask other lawyers, some people who are mentors to me. What's the most important characteristic of a lawyer? Or what the three most important characteristics of a lawyer? And so many of them, especially those who've been in the practice of law or who've been a judge for, a while, will put resilience in there. And so I'm looking for that characteristic in students.
Yeah.
Are you resilient? Can you take a licking and keep on ticking? I think that's important because all of us are going to take a licking in the profession at some point or another, probably at multiple points. And so we got to keep on ticking because there's a lot of good stuff to do. There's a lot of help we can bring, but there's something inherent in people coming to you and saying, I have this problem or this challenge, and they hand it to you. And that's difficult. You've got to be able to carry that weight and the pressure that comes with it, and it just takes resilience. So that's something I look for in students.
I think, if I may say, to any potential students listening, I think for me at least, my first year, it took a lot of grit to do the classes because the classes are very hard. But I started finding more and more success in my second and third years once I got even more comfortable, even with grades improved and lots of things improved. And that it takes a lot of grit just to even believe that you can do more than what you've already done.
That's right.
And so I think it's really important in that first year, which is really grueling, to continue to work, continue to get better and better, because all the ground you cover is ground you won't have to cover again, or at least as in depth. And so that's how I've thought of the whole thing, and grit is very, very important to me, at least, as well.
Yeah. I completely agree with that. And I will say the experience you just described, grades are important in law school, no doubt. But I think that decision to say, I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna endure this. I'm gonna benefit from this. I'm gonna show resilience. That characteristic will pay bigger dividends over the long term than an A- versus a B or a A- versus an A. I mean, those characteristics are what are going to carry you through. I meet lawyers all the time who tell me, and candidly, part of my job is fundraising, and I'm meeting these people because they are successful and they're interested in giving money to the law school. And so often they'll tell me, well, I wasn't a great law student. Yeah, but you've been a really great lawyer.
Right.
You've been a really great lawyer and you've had a lot of success. So I think those things are important. And I think, one of the things I'm so proud of our law students is that we, the faculty, are well aware of how difficult this is. Mm-hmm. But what we're proud of is the students are like, yeah, but I'm here for it.
Right.
And keep on going.
Yeah.
And that's just great to see. I see students at the beginning of law school, they're so eager. They're so eager.
Yeah.
And then over time, it turns into resolve.
Right.
Sort of taking a longer look at things and just resolve. And I think that's an important transformation.
That's a very good word to use for it, because yes, at a certain point, the excitement turns into less just excitement and more, I still want to do this. And you just know that in your heart of hearts that you still want to do it no matter what it takes.
That's the thing you can build a career on.
Mm-hmm.
Excitement is not something you can build a career on because you can't maintain it. But if it's resolve and I have things I want to achieve for myself, for my clients, for the community I serve, resolve will let you do those things. Excitement that you feel when you come to law school on the first week or two, I don't know that that's going to sustain you.
I don't know if you can finish Baylor Law School without developing that characteristic. I think it's necessary.
I certainly hope that's true.
Yeah. So,
Caroline, been great. Thanks for chatting with me.
Thank you. Thanks for chatting with me.